Hey YouTubians, it's Tony here from We Try Anything, channel likes try anything so you don't have to. In today's video, what we're going to talk about is how to operate the Casio AQ-180W, and this has a module number of 3793. I've listed the time codes below just so you can access just a part of the video or skip to a part of the video where it's explaining about a certain feature of the watch and how to use it. And also I've linked to the instructions in the description box below where it will take you off to the Casio website and you can view the PDF instructions online at your leisure. So the first thing to show you on this watch is how to operate the various functions of this watch, or how to access them as such. Now to do that, what you have is two pushers here. You have a pusher there. You don't have one there, it's just a pusher there, and also you have a pusher on the front. Now let's address the front pusher first. Now the front pusher will allow you to access the lights if there's nothing being selected on the main digital display. So for example, if you've got it in timekeeping mode and you're adjusting the time, then it won't operate the lights. It will allow you to decrease the value of what you're amending. But in this instance, because there's nothing selected or anything, it is just showing you the date or what would be the time as well. You just press the light button, and what you can see either side of the dial, you can see the orange LEDs just glowing there, just for I think it's about a second delay. And I'm just quickly showing you a clip just here, just so you can see how it looks like in darkness and semi-darkness. The other thing to mention while I'm just on about illumination is that there is an amount of lume on the hand, on the main minute hand and this hour hand, just so you can see the time in darkness and semi-darkness. Again, a feature I am showing you here. So again, there's the light function there going on, as well as the lume. So now the other functions or the other things that these pushers do, so for example, if you look on the back of the watch, you can see where it's engraved, it says adjust, mode and search. Now the adjust will allow you to adjust various elements of the watch. So if I just press it for a couple of seconds, you will notice the LCD display flash. And obviously that will allow you to adjust certain things. So if I just press it again, it just stops it. If I press the mode button, which is this one here, it'll allow you to cycle through the modes that are on this watch, which you can see there's quite a few. And if I press this button here, it'll allow you to up the value if you are adjusting something. And also in this instance, I'll just quickly show you, it'll allow you, because I'm just featuring the time mode, you can just turn on the 24-hour or activate what would be 12 hours. So you've got 24-hour, which would be military time in the USA, and you've got 12-hour and then again 24 hours. And also just this button here, while you're in the main timekeeping mode, you can feature the date if you so wish, and just quickly pressing it again back to the times if you want to see the digital time, and then again back to the date. So it's as easy to operate as that. Now talking about the actual dial, what you have is the hour and minute markers that go around the chapter ring, or just the little markers going on here, and also you have the indication of the hours just around the main inner part of the dial, and it only goes up between 8 and 4, as you can see around here if you go clockwise, because obviously at the bottom you have the digital display. So talking about the display, what you've got is what would be a dot matrix font here, which does display certain things. So for example, if it's in Telememo, it'll be the name and stuff like that. Obviously what you can see here is featuring the date, and if I press that again, it'll be featuring the seconds. What you have down here to the right is you've got like what would be a pie chart. Now these certain segments will indicate what has been activated. So the first, what would be 1, 2, 3, 4, indicates the alarms that you've got activated, because it's got 2 alarms, what would be independent alarms, a snooze alarm, and it also features an hourly signal. And at the bottom, I'll show you in a minute when I do adjust the time, it does indicate whether you've got daylight saving time turned on or turned off. Moving on to what would be timekeeping mode, which is the first mode I'm going to talk to you about. The one thing you've got to bear in mind when adjusting the time is that what would be the analog part of the watch, which is the 2 hands that you see here, you have to amend separately to what would be on the digital display. So if I pop it onto the actual time, you can see at the minute I've got it as 10:06 AM, and you can see on the hand you've got it, I've just managed to get it to just after 10:06. So I'll show you how to adjust the hands later on, but for now what we're going to do is adjust the main, what will be, or the digital timekeeping mode that you've got listed here. So to do that, You keep your finger on the top left hand button for a couple of seconds, and what you'll see straight away is that the seconds will flash. Now what you need to do to adjust the values of what goes, or what is flashing as such, you press the bottom right hand button. Now what you can see is that it is reset to 0, but if you are over what will be the 30 seconds, when you press it, it will increase the minute value by 1. So moving along, let's just pop it onto what will be the next part of amending the timekeeping mode. What you'll notice is that you see off. Now what off means, it could be off or it could be on, depending on the function or what your watch is currently displaying. What it allows you to do, that is the actual daylight saving time part of the function that you're amending. Now currently, because this is being filmed in what would be spring in the UK, daylight saving time is not being observed. But if I press this button again and I turn it on and just stop the actual daylight saving time, as you can see, it's increased the hours by 1, and you do get an indicator at the bottom of the pie chart. It does say DST, which means that you are honouring, or you are take into account that you've got daylight saving time on. So let's just turn that back off, because it's not what's being viewed at the minute. So just turn it off, and as you can see, when you turn off the adjustment of the timekeeping mode, then daylight saving time won't appear. So let's go on to the next one, just to show you amending the what would be the hours. So again, I've pressed that button there just to move it on one while it's flashing. So again, just press it up, that button there, to up the value, and then press the light button to down the value. So it is 10:08 AM, and I'll just move it along, and again up again or down again, and then move it onto the year. So again, if you want to increase the year, you just press that button. If you want to decrease the year, just press the light button, and the month, and then the day within the month. So I just press that to stop it, and as I said, you can just pop it back onto what would be the digital time if you want to view that, or again back onto the date. So the next mode I'm going to talk about is the Telememo part of this watch. Right, let's show you how to use the Telememo feature of the Casio AQ-180W. So if you're on the timekeeping mode, or you've got the date feed showing you here, what you do, you just press the mode button, and that will take you to what will be the Telememo mode, which is the next one after what will be timekeeping mode. Now as you can see there was an entry that says Tel, and it says F29. Now what it means is that there's 29 data entries that are blank that you can insert your information to. Now this watch will store up to 30, and I have got one here that I have placed in here just to give you an example of how these work, and it'll allow you to insert a data entry that has up to 8 characters for the name and 16 numerical characters for the number. Now what you got here is, you can see the name is just cycling across because it can't feature all them 8, so it's obviously doing it in a what would be a scrolling effect. And if you want to see the number, all you do is just press the top left hand button, and as you can see there, the number is being featured now. And if you want to go back to the name, press it again, and then if again you want to see the number, press it one more time, and you only have to just depress it just a little. You don't have to keep your finger on it, because keeping your finger on it will allow you to adjust it, so just bear that in mind. So again, pop to Casio, and then one more time the information that is stored under that Casio entry. Now if I want to see what the next entry is, I just press this button here, and at the minute it is blank. Now the blank entry is denoted by the 3 lines that are, well, what would be 3 dashes here. That means that there's an entry that is blank where you can insert your information. Now the other thing to remember, if I just go back to the first entry here, if you've got a fair few entries in this watch, if you want, instead of cycling through all of them to get to a blank, if you want to go straight to a blank entry, you just press these 2 buttons here, and you'll hear a beep, and that means it's taking you straight to the blank entry where you can start to input your information. Right, now as we're on a blank field that we can put some data into, I might as well just show you how to input some new information into this watch. So if you keep your finger on the adjust button, which is at the top left hand corner, you'll start to see the name entry flash. So let's put in the word test or testing. So let's just cycle across. So let's put in test, and again move it along one by just pressing the bottom left hand button. So again press T-E-S-T-E-S, there's the S, and then move it one more forward, and then the T. Now if you want to do it really quick and cycle along the actual letters super quick, as opposed to just pressing them again all the time, you just keep your finger on the button, and then what it'll do, it'll speed through the actual letters. But if you go over a letter by accident, so for example I should have been I as opposed to what it is at the minute is J, press the light button. You can go backwards in your going through the actual cycle of the letters. So again, if I went a bit too over, you can go backwards by pressing the light button, and again press the mode button just to move you along. So just move you along here. Again I went over one, G, and let's see if it will allow you to put in a character. Now I'm going to go backwards as opposed to going through all the alphabet. So it will let you put in numbers. So if you wanted to say testing 1 or anything like that, and also it should let you put in some various characters. Now I am showing you the character set that you can put on this watch just to give you an indication of what you are allowed to feature, and you can also put in a space. Now I've got to the exclamation mark. Now I believe if you press it a couple of times, it will go to the end of what will be the eighth character, and then it will start allowing you to amend the numbers. So if I press it one more time, as you can see I've gone up to the 8 characters, and now it's allowing me to start doing the numbers. So let's say because I'm from Birmingham, 1, press the wrong button, 2, 1, and again, so 1, again I'm being silly, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, I'm sure I could put in more numbers than 8 because I will allow you to go up to 16, but for now I'm quite happy with the numbers that I put in. And if you want to complete that entry and just get it stored into the watch, then just press the adjust button, and there you go. It's flashed a couple of times. It's saying it's number 2 in the list, and there you go. You can start to view the numbers that you got featured within this watch, so, or stored within this watch as it were. And there you go. It's as easy as that. So let's go to the Casio again. I want to go straight to a blank, as I've mentioned before, which you can do just because I've got a couple of entries. And again, as you can see, it's gone flashed straight through the amount of entries I've got in, and it's gone straight to a blank entry. Now if I want to amend a data entry on this watch, so if I want to amend what would be the Casio, I go to the Casio entry here, I press the adjust button because I want to adjust it, and again, as you can see, I'm going through the naming part where I'm going to amend, but I want to change just something at the end of the name, so Casio, and I don't know, I just want to call it 1. Oh, let's go backwards to get the number. So Casio 1, and again, let's go 2, 3, and then I want to just change one of the numbers. So again, just press it a couple of times and it will go onto the number part where you can see you're amending. So if I wanted to amend, say for example 1, 2, 3, and I wanted to change that to a 4, and you can see it's easily done. And if I finish with amending the entry for the Casio data part of the watch, I just press the adjust button, and as you can see, it's flashed a couple of times, and there you go, it has been amended. So you can see Casio 1, 2, 3, and then if I press it again, you can see it says 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see that the amend to the data entry has happened. Now if I want to delete a data entry, it is as easily done as by choosing the data entry you want to amend. So again, I'm on testing data entry here, and then I press the top left hand button to adjust it, and then what I then press is these 2 buttons here to clear it. So if I press these 2 buttons, so that was that button there and that button there, and as you can see it says CLR, which means to clear, and then I just press the adjust button, and as you can see it's gone to blank. So I've just got that one entry in there, and that is as far as I'm going to take the Telememo function. And if you want to find out more about the actual Telememo function, the instructions are listed in the description box below, but that should get you going on how to adjust or how to input data into the Telememo part of the Casio AQ-180W. Right, the next mode to talk about on this watch is, or what would be, the world time element of the Casio AQ-180W. So just to press the mode button twice from the timekeeping mode, and what you see, it says WT for world time. Now currently we are looking at a time of 11:36 PM, and it's saying that's for Berlin. Now what I've listed here is just all the country codes that this watch will go through, and that is based on the date of 2004, so obviously this watch is quite old. But what you need to bear in mind is that the world time here is not based on what you have in timekeeping mode. So that's a very important thing to understand, that the world time that is featured here, you need to set separately to what is featured in the main local time, or the time that you use on this watch. So to do that, what I would do is I'm going to go to just try and find London, because obviously that's the time zone I'm in. And so let me just quickly get through to there. So as you can see, this has got, I think it's got up to 30 cities that you can feature on this watch, and it's easily cycled through by pressing that bottom right hand button. So let's go to London, and I'm going to adjust that time. So I'm going to adjust it like I would do in timekeeping mode. First of all, it'll let you to adjust the daylight saving time, and I don't want to adjust that. I just want to adjust the time. So I press the mode button to move it on, and it is 10:25 AM. So let's go backwards this time as opposed to going forward, and keep, oh, I've gone past it, so I'll go forward one more time. And you can easily amend what would be the values by that for being forward and that for being backwards. And if I move that along to what would be 25, so I'm going to go backwards in this instant as opposed to going through the whole time, and I've got it on 10:25. And if I've got that correct, and I just press to adjust to stop it, now what you'll see is as I'm starting to cycle through the cities, all the time zones are being respected based on what I've set it for London. So just bear that in mind when you are looking at the time, world time on this watch. You have got to set it separately to what would be the main time that you do have featured in timekeeping mode. So I'll just get it back to what would be London, and I think you can go, no, you can't go backwards, it just activates the light when nothing else is being selected. So let's see if I can go back to what would be London, and there you go. So as you can see, it is set up for London 10:26 AM, and obviously all the other time zones will be respected based on that. So that's how to amend what will be, or how to use world time on this watch. Right, the next mode we're going to talk about is the alarm mode. Now, just from the timekeeping mode, you can see that we're at the alarm mode here, and it's indicated by, you've got an AL1, which stands for alarm 1. Now to cycle through to the other alarms, you've got AL2, which is the second independent alarm this has. Press it again, you can see the signal, which stands for the hourly signal. So if activated, the watch will sound on the hour every hour. And finally, you have a snooze alarm as well. Now, I won't be really talking about the snooze alarm because I don't use it much. I don't know if there is anyone that does. But if you do want to find out more about it, you can click on the link in the description box below, which will take you off to the instructions for this watch if you just want to find out about that part. Plus, I know this video is going to go on a little bit longer than I want it to. So I'll just quickly show you how to set up one of the independent alarms and activate the other alarms that are on this watch. Now, if I just cycle back to alarm 1, so if you just want to activate the alarm, you just press the top left hand button. So I've got it set at 7:30 in the morning, and if I just want to just activate so it goes off every day at 7:30, just press that, and what you'll see on the pie chart, or I'm going to call it a pie chart anyhow, or the segments, you'll see AL1 has been highlighted here. Now what that means is the alarm 1 is activated, and it will go off on that at that time every day until you turn it off. Now if you want to have alarm 2 to activate so it goes off every day, cycle through to alarm 2, press it again, and as you can see, AL2 is highlighted. If you want the hourly signal to be activated, you just cycle through to where it says SIG and just press what would be the top left hand button. There you go, top left hand button. I didn't press it hard enough, and what you can see is the words SIG activated. If you want the snooze alarm activated, press it, cycle through to SNZ, press that button once, and then as you can see, SNZ is activated. Now if you want to turn them off, you don't want the alarm to go off on the times that you've set throughout the day, or the hourly signal, or the snooze alarm, again you've got to cycle through to all the different alarms and turning them off. So if I'm on the snooze alarm, I want that off. As you can see, you can see the actual letters disappear from the pie chart. Again, AL1 off, AL2 or alarm 2 off, hourly signal off. And there you go, it's as easily done as that. Now, what I'm going to quickly do is show you how to adjust one of the alarms on this watch. So again, pressing, if you're on AL1, so that's the first alarm that this watch has, keep your finger on the top left hand button. And if I wanted to go off at let's say 6 o'clock in the morning, I want to get up a bit earlier. Now obviously, as you can see, it says AM, which denotes the morning, and if it's PM, it will denote it by a P. Now that is in 12-hour mode, but if you put it onto 24-hour mode in the main timekeeping screen, which I've shown you how to adjust earlier on in the video, you can see that you can change when you change it to 24-hour. This won't feature A or P, it'll just feature what would be the 24-hour clock. So just bear that in mind. Now, if I want to adjust it to 6:30 in the morning, now I can either go forward by pressing this button, but I want to just go backward because it's only an hour behind what I've got it set at the minute. And again, if I want to change the 30 to a 00, so 6 o'clock, just keep your finger on that button there. As you can see, it's quickly going through to it. Oh, and I pressed it and I've gone a bit over. Again, you can just press the light button to go backwards. And that is the alarm set for 6 in the morning. Now, obviously, as I'm adjusting what would be the alarm, you can see alarm 1 is activated. Now, if I stop the adjustment and I just want to turn that off because I don't want to be woken up at 6 in the morning, it's as easily done as that. And that is how you set what would be the independent alarm on the Casio AQ-180W. And the same essence or process will be for alarm 2 and the snooze alarm as well. Right, the next function I'm going to show you how to use is the timer function. So as you can see, I got to the TMR, which means stands for timer, and it is a countdown timer alarm. So when the value reaches 0, the alarm should beep just to indicate the amount of elapsed time has passed. So as you can see, the screen that I've got here is all 0. Now, if you've got an all 0 screen, you can straight away count down from 24 hours. So if I just press that button there, because the actual display is zeroed off, and as you can see, it starts to count down from 24 hours. Now, obviously, once the 24 hours has passed, it will beep to say that elapsed time has passed. So if I just want to stop that by pressing that button there, and if I want to blank it off again by pressing that button there, it's as easily done as that. Now, if I want to set my own time that I want to count down from, say, for example, let's say 5 hours, I can just keep my finger on the adjust button there, and as you can see, the values are starting to flash there. So I want to go up to 5 hours, and you can also amend the amount of minutes, well, which I've just learned. So let's say 5 hours and go up to 30 minutes. Round it all off nicely, and just press that button there. So now this will count down from 5 hours and 30 minutes. Now again, if I want to stop that and zero that off, I can just easily do it by just pressing that button there to stop it, that button there to go back to the time that I was counting down from. And if I just want to zero it all off, just being completely neat, you can easily do that by adjusting it again and just by going backwards. So it's now back to 0. And that's how you adjust the timer on the Casio AQ-180W. Now the next function I'm going to show you is the stopwatch function. Now all you got to do, again, press the mode button just to cycle through the functions, and you go to STW, which stands for stopwatch. Now to activate the stopwatch, so you're just measuring an elapsed amount of time, you just press the start button down the bottom right hand corner. So as you can see, the seconds, it's measuring in 100th of a second. There's your seconds there. And if I just press that to stop and then press that to reset, you can do so. So if I just want to highlight a split time, you can start the stopwatch, so it's now measuring what will be known as an elapsed time, and just press that button there, and as you can see, that is the split. Now you can see the colon and the dot is still flashing. That means it's still measuring, or the stopwatch is still measuring an elapsed time. So again, to release the split time, as you can see, the numbers jumped up because it's been counting it while I've paused it, or while I've shown the split time. And again, just stop, reset. And also this will do what is known as first and second finish time. So for example, you've got 2 runners in a race and you want to see how quick they get across the finish line. So again, start the stopwatch, and the first runner does it in an amazing time of a couple of seconds. So you press split and keep the watch running, or keep the elapsed time running. So the first runner did it in 5 seconds and 76/100th of a second, and I want to see what the second runner does the actual finish time in, which is a bit slower. So you just press the stop to stop the stopwatch, and then you press the top left hand button to release the split, and as you can see, that would be what is the second finish time. So they did it in 19 seconds and 62/100th of a second. Now this watch will count up to 24 hours, and so those are the minute indicators there, and that's the hour indicator there, just so you know how this stopwatch works. And that's it really. Now the final mode I'm going to show you is the hand setting mode that is on this watch. Now as you can see here, the time, I've adjusted the analog part of the watch just so it's way out of sync with what would be the digital part, just to show you the difference that these two can feature really, because these aren't synchronized together, which is a massive shame. So to access the analog time adjustments, you just cycle through to what be HS, which stands for hand setting mode, and it shows you what you've got on the main timekeeping mode for the digital part of timekeeping mode. So I want to change it now. I want to change the analog part to what would be 1056. So to do so, you keep your finger, as long as you're in hand setting mode, remember that, keep your finger on the adjust button, and what you'll see is the whole time flashing. So that means you can now adjust the analog part, and to do so you can do it in increments. So just press it, it'll do it. I think it's 30 seconds it'll move the hand, but what I need to do, I need to get it round to the 10. So what I might do is I might just quickly speed up the footage just to show you how this works. Now unfortunately it only goes forwards, it doesn't go backwards, which is a massive shame, especially if you live in a country that has what would be daylight saving time, where the hours go forward or backward, because especially when they go backwards you've got to go all the way around the dial, but unfortunately this watch doesn't allow that, so you can only go forward. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to speed up the footage just so you can see me get to what would be nearly 11 o'clock by the time I do this function correctly. So I've got it to what will be 10:51, so I'm going to do it just in increments, and just so I can get it a bit more accurate than I would do if I kept my finger pressed on this button. And I'm going to get it to 10:58, which will be nearly 10:59, because obviously I've got to remember the seconds. And there you go, we are nearly just at that time now. So let's get it to just so it's a little bit more accurate. And there you go, it's now at 10:59, and that's how you adjust the hand setting mode or the analog hands on this watch. A little bit convoluted, but unfortunately there's no way you can go backwards, you only can go forward. And that's it really. I'm just going to press the adjust button to turn it off, and then go back to what would be the main timekeeping mode, and I'll just put it back on the date. And there you go, that's the watch now set up in terms of analog and digital. So you can see it does mirror the digital there with the analog, but you've got to synchronize that yourself. You can't, it doesn't do it automatically, which is a massive shame, but that's the way Casio do it. And that's it with this watch. I mean, there is a lot of functions to this watch, and a lot of the functions do happen within the digital window of this watch. But if you want to see a review of this watch, then click there. I have listed it in the description box below, or you can just search on my channel for the Casio AQ-180W. I hope this tutorial has helped in any way. I know it's gone on for a little bit, but there have been time codes I've listed below. And if there is anything I haven't covered about this watch, then I've mentioned it a few times. I have linked to the instructions in the description box below. And thank you for watching this video. I really do hope it's helped. And if you want to find out more or see more videos from the We Try Anything channel, click on the subscription button below, and don't forget to like it. It always helps these videos get out and get a bit more popular with people who are looking to understand how to use their watch a bit more better. So thank you for watching this video, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.